Is anyone on
Welcome,
the call for the first time tonight? Okay. Tonight we're going to talk about an interesting topic that I've been exploring with my friend Benjamin Hardy. How many have heard people say, you know, we need to live in the present? Have you heard that statement?
Yeah.
Can someone tell me what that means?
Well, to me, it means that, the future is unknown and the past is done. That means just living in the present moment is really the only place you can have any effect.
Or is it? This is the problem I have with it. If I'm driving, when they tell you, when you're driving, right? I just drove with more than 1,000 miles. You don't look at where you are. You don't look down the ground. They tell you to look 10 seconds ahead of you at all times. Okay. The reason I don't get this is live in the present, because it's like the car. I don't know how to live in the present. Because the present, by the time I'm aware of it, it's already gone. Okay. Time is fluid. It's kind of like, let's step in the river. You've heard the saying, you never step in the same river twice, right? Time, you never step in that same experience. And also living in the past can be horrible. It can also be beautiful. I just recited a very beautiful memory I had just a few days ago, saying goodbye to my daughter, a very poignant time. But this is what my friend Dr. Benjamin Hardy has been working on a book, and he's working on a book about hope. And he said something that when he said it, it just hit me really hard. I want you to think about this in your own self and about our community and what we're doing in terms of magnification. He said that those who succeed are people who live in the future. And I thought about that. The happiest times of my life were the times that I was projecting the future, what's going to happen. And I wasn't even achieving it. Like it was not nearly as exciting being in the White House as being invited to the White House. Does that make sense? It wasn't nearly as exciting to hit the bestseller list than to hear I might hit the bestseller list. It was the climbing that made everything worthwhile, and it was the projection ahead. And this is important because during this time, a lot of us are suffering from depression, and it's important to understand why. And there's two really big reasons. But before I jump right on that, I love it. Joseph Edison wrote Christmas Eve anticipation. Absolutely, right? It's the anticipation of the season. It's anticipation of the honeymoon. It's anticipation of all these great experiences coming in our lives that are so exciting. COVID is wreaking havoc on our future. At least we think it is, because there's two things that are really dangerous right now. I was just looking up the suicide rates in Utah. We've had 665 suicide deaths, almost double COVID deaths, okay, this year so far. And suicide rates are way up. And one of the reasons they're way up is something that we are actually actively battling right here, and that is because of lack of community. One of the highest causes of suicide is lack of community and social interaction. That being together, okay, that being together is what keeps us alive. We need each other. I used to wonder why people in prison it's like, you think of those, the kind of the violent community, yet to punish them is to take them out of the violent community and put them alone. Think about that. The severest punishment in prison is to take you out of a dangerous, stressful, violent community and put you by yourself. Okay, what does that tell you about being alone? But the way we look at the future, it was just as hard watching the riots and looting that went on as it was just watching what's happening with COVID and watching with deaths, because it seems to shake up our, the future. What kind of future are we going to have? What is it going to look like when it's over? And part of me is holding to this hope that things will at least go back to a kind of sense of normalcy, that things will go back to the way they were. How many are feeling that, at least have that hope?
Definitely.
And maybe that they don't, I'm not sure they're totally go back to the way they were. I don't know if that's possible. There are things that will definitely be changed. Some for the better, right? Some for better, some for worse. Some years ago, I was working on a book called The Carousel. And I decided that I was going to make one of my characters in the book have multiple sclerosis. Does anyone on the call have MS? Okay. So as usual, I'm doing research. I'm doing all this research. I make a list of the symptoms of multiple sclerosis. And then all of a sudden, as I'm going down there, I realized at the time I hadn't been feeling well. This is about 17 years ago. I wasn't feeling well. And I suddenly realized that I had all the symptoms I was writing down. And it's like, wait, was my brain giving me a hint here that it's trying to get me? And I'm looking at this, and at the time I'd been waking in the night with severe pins and needles feeling, waking me up. I literally thought someone had stabbed me with a pin once. I jumped up out of bed, and it's like, okay, so what's going on? So I thought, finally, it's like, okay, this is too intense. I don't want to think about it. This actually happened. I go upstairs, I turn on the TV, and as the TV's coming on, I hear the words, "I don't know, doctor. My hands and feet are numb." It's like, oh, geez. And it's Annette Funicello's story I turned on to. Okay, so and she was talking about when she was diagnosed with MS. And she goes down everything I just saw. I was like, oh, great. Well, I hung on to it for a few days and thought, well, maybe the symptoms will just go away. I stopped eating sugar. So maybe it's being caused by sugar, because sugar can do anything. And I just kept waiting for it to go away. It wasn't going away. It was getting worse. So finally, I thought, I need to tell Carrie. So I remember when she came in, I go, honey, I need to tell you something. And that is the one way to scare the heck out of a spouse, to say, I need to tell you something. She goes, did you have an affair? Like, no. Why did you go there? She goes, well, you look so worried. I said, no. It's like, no, I just died. It's better. I was like, no, honey, I think I have MS. It's like, oh, I'm relieved. It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to die a painful death instead. It's like, great. So we set up a doctor's appointment. It's like, well, let's just see what's going on. So I go to the doctor, and he kind of looks at me and he goes, I don't know. It doesn't look like anyone I've seen who has MS. I think it could be worse. So, but let's just, so just to put your mind at ease, let's get you a CAT scan. So I go in and do the CT scan, and in the meantime, I started thinking very seriously about my future. And I had a radio representative I worked with who had come down with MS, and she was walking with a cane. It hit her pretty hard and pretty quick. And I watched how her life kind of imploded on her. I thought, well, what do I want to do? And so I made a list of everything I wanted to do. That if in case I did have MS and if it's going to be hard to walk. And one of those things is I wanted to take my kids to the Smithsonian museums. I thought that would be cool. I'd been there when I was a kid, and it was really cool, especially the Air and Space Museum. I thought, I want my kids to see this. So we planned a trip. And it was just set up in such a way, and we were going to go visit my friend, author David Baldacci. So we were going to stay with the Baldaccis while we're back there. They live in Vienna, Virginia. And so I arranged to go back there, and I was going to get my CT scans just before we left. I mean, literally the night before, that late afternoon before we left the next morning. So I go, so Carrie and I go down there, and we're thinking, we're just going in, he's going to tell me I don't have it, and it's going to be great. And so we go and we sit down, and the doctor walks in, and he doesn't look at me. He's looking around, and he just walks around. It's like, wait, you're supposed to look at me. It's like, wait, isn't that like a jury thing? If the jury comes back and they don't look at you, you're going to hang, right? So he comes up, he puts these things up, and he goes, I'm sorry, it doesn't look good. It looks like you have MS. It's like, oh, that was not what we were expecting to hear from you today. And he goes, yeah, you have these. And he took his pen, he touches the CAT scans. He goes, so you have these lesions on your brain. That's these multiple sclerosis. Sclerosis means scarring, right? And they discovered when they're cutting over cadavers, people who had died from it, and they found these scars on the brain. He goes, you have these scars on your brain. It looks like you have MS. That was a very weird experience. It's like, okay, and now I need to deal with this, right? And Carrie just kind of shut down. She was just like, well, no, 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 no. We want a different answer. And so it kind of freaked me out. I mean, it's like, okay, my life's going to change, but it was it was really interesting. We flew back to Virginia, and the Baldaccis picked us up. David Baldacci sits on the board of the Virginia, of all things, right? What a coincidence, of the Virginia MS Society. His sister has severe MS. Like, she's blind and crippled from it. And he goes, "Are you okay, Rick?" And I go, "I was just diagnosed with MS." He goes, "Oh, okay. All right, now what?" It's like, "Well, Jana, you tell me." And he goes, "There's a lot of great promising drugs. We're slowing it down." He's going down. And he was the right guy at the right time, because he gave me a lot of hope about what's going on with MS. But this is what happened during this time. He said, the doctor said, I want you to get you with a specialist. And he's going to be about a month out. And so I started to just deal with, what is my life going to be like? And so I made up a list, my bucket list of what I wanted to do. But the thing that was interesting is I felt relief. I have felt driven my entire life. And I felt like for the first time, I stepped off the treadmill. And I thought, this is going to be okay. I'm going to spend more time with my family. I'm going to write a little bit, decide how many books I have left in me, and just ride this out. But I'm okay. I'm okay with my death eventually with it. I don't know how fast we'll go. It seems to be moving really quickly through my body. It tends to hit men harder than women. It's like, we'll see where this goes. And what I did is I started setting up interviews with people who had MS. I did it under the pretense that I had a character in my book. And the first 3 people I talked to who had MS, surprisingly, were grateful that they had MS. And that completely surprised me. One of whom has since died. And he had very severe MS. He could barely walk. He was very, very thin, bone thin. And what he said to me was really interesting. I wrote it down, what he said. He said, prior to his diagnosis, he was a successful executive with a Fortune 500 company. And he said, I was gone all the time. All the time. I was focused only on my career. My family was an obstacle to my financial goals. I was a bad husband and an even worse father. Then came this. And he looked down at his cane. He said, when I was diagnosed, I went through the usual stages of grief, denial, anger, depression, bargaining, and then resignation. It was only then, as I faced my new reality, that I mentally came home and found what I'd been missing and what I had sacrificed. And then he looked over at his wife and he said, it was worth it. He said, I never would have even known my family. I wasn't happy before, and I'm happy now. That was about 2 months before he died. I thought it was such an eye-opening experience. Everyone I talked to who had MS was grateful for the experience they had because it refocused them on their kingdoms, right? Isn't that why we're here? For some people, that he found those kingdoms, and through those kingdoms, he found joy. I want you to just let that kind of seep in a little bit and feel that. So it was a month after I went in to see the specialist, and I walked in and there were my CAT scans up on the light board and I could see the scars. And he walked up and he goes, yeah, I'm not impressed. And I go, with me? With what? What are you? And he goes, if I were to go off these CAT scans, I'd say you don't have MS. I go, what? I go, what are these? And he goes, well, they look like lesions. And normally we look at it and say, yeah, you have MS. But he goes, every now and then brains are kind of different, and they'll actually have arteries that come out when they end up just here in the CAT scan. They look like this. He goes, look, and he started showing, he goes, see, it's actually just the way your brain's wired a little bit different. He goes, I don't know why you're having these symptoms, but I don't think you have MS. The odd thing is that the symptoms went away about 4 weeks later. I don't know what was causing them. To this day, I don't know. But I'm really grateful for that insight, because here I was faced with something that is very painful. As one celebrity said, MS is it's kind of all the junk God couldn't put in other diseases, so he just threw them all together. And yet I found some clarity, and I found clarity in the 5 kingdoms and where I was going and what I wanted to be. So it was a really powerful experience for me. And then I thought, and I have to admit, when I went home that day, I mean, talk about whiplash, right? Talk about emotional whiplash, being whipped around. When I went home, I was actually disappointed. And I thought, this is the strangest thing. Why would I be disappointed that I'm not dying? Why am I disappointed that I'm not going to suffer? And I thought, I have to get back on the treadmill. And I did. This is the beauty of the 5 kingdoms, is that we don't have to go through those experiences to have that kind of awakening. But it is about living in the future. And if you read the book, the book everyone on this call should read, okay, Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl. Okay, one of the most important books ever written, as far as I'm concerned. He talks about those people who threw themselves into the wire, who committed suicide in the camp. He said, as soon as they lost hope in the future, they were gone. They died. If we don't have that hope, if we don't have that resiliency, that there is something, the power of resiliency that comes from seeing something in the future, we will self-destruct. It's a way we are wired. And that's why when I say about living in the present, it's like, I can look around and say, look, I'm alive, I'm healthy right now. And I could be so full of depression. And I have been struggling with depression during the pandemic. And it's very natural. The lack of society, the things that we're facing is causing that. But there's a way around it. Like right now, I'm sleeping. I have more energy than I've had in a long time. And Diane, why am I so excited right now? Why do you think? You done mute yourself?
Because you have a lot going.
Yeah, what do we have going in particular?
Maybe.
What?
You have a lot going.
I know. And what in particular are we really excited about?
Well, I could think of a lot of things.
Okay, this is right. What?
I don't want to be saying something I shouldn't be, so help
Oh, that's
me.
why. Okay, so we can say it. We're very excited about the Christmas box house.
Okay.
Some of you have seen what we posted. I've decided to take charge of my charity. And we have a billboard going up tomorrow, and we're already getting all this energy coming in. We have people coming in. And if you saw the post I put up there, we've helped enough children. No one knows this. Our name has almost disappeared. When we started the Christmas Box House 20 years ago, we were the most recognized charity in the state. And that has, after 20 years, it just gets a little bit less and less. And so now some people think we're actually a recreational thing for kids to go play at. What they don't know is that we have been working with trafficked children for more than 20 years. Okay, people are all excited about trafficking, and it's like, the extraction's nothing, people. Okay, it's nothing. I mean, it's exciting and it's sexy. It's about what you do with them after you get them out, because the average time the kids go back into trafficking is 7 times. 7 times. Unless you get them help. That's what we've been doing for 20 years. And so we started putting up some things. It's like, you know what? We've been working in quiet. Do you realize the number of kids we have helped could fill, in fact, I want to show this picture. Maybe you saw it on our site. It could actually fill Madison Square Gardens 6 times. Some of you, I know, Bonnie, I know you saw that because you posted on it. It's like you could actually fill Madison Square Garden 6 times. you could fill every college stadium, football stadium in Utah with the number of kids we've helped. And when I say help, this is like, we give them clothes, a place to stay more than one day. We've had kids stay as long as a month. It's amazing what we've been able to do. And we've done it kind of in quiet. And all of a sudden it's like, you know what, we've got to stop this. We need to reach back out. And I've let people limit me. And that's what I realized, like, I'm limited. And this stops today. And as soon as I made that decision, it all changed. And to show how powerful it was, I wanted to open a donation center. And the people I'm working at said no. It's like, you can't tell me no, but it's like they can refuse to work, which is what they basically did. It's like, if you're my direct employee, I'll just fire you. And so what I did is I went through and I fired half the board. In 1 week, I cleared out the board. It's like, if you're not working, and I started to find the people who are really serious about building, who have been donating their time and their money, and we have been pulling together and creating something really powerful. And so just like that, we open our donation center the first day or the day before it opens, we get a call from someone who has 300 brand new blankets. One of our people comes down, she picks up the blankets, we bring them in, she goes downtown and gives them to homeless runaway teens. She goes, if you go downtown, you will see teenagers walking around carrying our blankets everywhere you see. These are the kids at the highest risk for trafficking. She goes, many of them she's working with sell themselves into trafficking, actually, especially in winter. Otherwise, they'll freeze to death. And so this is really exciting. So we're launching this. One of the people I'm working with, over the weekend, my ranch was used for some pretty bad A stuff. They were out there shooting guns, and they were a team of extractors who go in and kick in doors and save children. And they spent the weekend there training and certifying people to save. It's like, there's a lot of exciting things happening at this moment. And I just feel like I have just opened up. And it's like, no, I reject the idea that my future is going to be less. I reject that idea. I am going to magnify it on a whole new level. And I started to see how many people I let restrict me and get in the way. So I got rid of them. And I have more to get rid of. It's like, it's a powerful place to be. It's an exciting place and an exciting time. And what we're seeing is the moment those things went away, things start flooding in. People from all around the country. Ruth, you just put about Underground Railroad. We're not working with Underground Railroad. I'm very familiar with Underground Railroad. We're working with different groups that are more focused on the aftercare and about saving the kids afterwards. OUR has some, they need to clean up their act. Okay. We want to make a difference. You know, we want to make a difference, and each of these kids are real. And that's what we're doing. And so, and now one of these guys, he actually went to my ranch twice over the weekend. He left and goes, can I take my family back there? And we realized that we could set up an army of people to go in and kick in doors. I know that Tony Spooner wants to be in it. And I already put up today, we had 20 men already volunteer. Just by mentioning it, it's like, we're gonna create an army of thousands of men and women. There's some pretty badass women out there who carry guns and you know, don't get in the way of a mama bear. I know, I've learned that. And so to create an army to go after those kids, but the greater work and the more important work is what you do with the kids afterwards, to get them in education. If we get them in education, 88% stay out of trafficking. Judah is not on tonight, but he is very involved with this. In fact, he usually misses our calls because he's out rescuing kids, or rescuing actually a lot of women, a lot of sex trafficking, and getting them jobs. So we have some amazing people. There are amazing people doing things undercover that we don't see. But it's exciting to look at this and say, what are we going to do? What are we going to create? And so I ask you, I want to ask you this question right now. As you are looking at your life right now, this week and this month, if you don't have something you're looking at to magnify your life, and if you look at my cool den, Michael noticed it. My Dan is like really beautiful. Even my wife's impressed. That was one of my things to magnify my life. I realized I didn't like my Dan. And so I like redid it. And see that right there? That's the movie poster from the Christmas box. The actual Christmas box is in there, signed by Maureen O'Hare and Richard Thomas. And I made my den awesome. It's like, I want to magnify my life. I want to magnify my surroundings. My experience with my kids have been magnified as I've spent more time looking at each one of them and say, what do they need from me? And that's the last thing I say to my children every time I see them. What can I do for you? What do you need from me? How can I serve you? And it's such cool. Yeah, Adrian, that's an amazing book, and it's kind of the grandfather of all books, right? What can we do? And ask, what can I do to magnify your life? And I had a great time with my daughter, Allison, as we walked over the TCU campus. I go, Allison, tell me about your future. How do you see it? And she reminds me very much of myself, which is good and bad. But she is the one that, if something happened to me, she will be by my side. She will take care of all the details. She will be there. She is incredibly loyal, incredibly tenacious, and will fight for her loved ones. I see that. And so what is it that you are looking at? As you sit down, you can see my organizer back here. I use the organizer, okay? I hope every one of you is using the organizer. That's why we're here, and I think you are. It is vital to the magnification of my life. I couldn't possibly handle. Right now, I'm running 5 organizations. I couldn't possibly handle it without the organizer. I couldn't handle my life. I am working on 4 books right now. Okay, my life is magnified, and I do it with this powerful tool. But at the core of this, it's all in here. What are you doing? Stephen Watts, what are you doing that is getting you up in the morning? That is getting you excited, that you're saying, I am going to magnify this. It may be, I've been watching this really wonderful show called Foods That Made America. Is that right, Diane? Changed America? Story of Kellogg's and Hershey's and CW Post and Harlan Sanders and McDonald's. It's like Ray Kroc. It's like these people who changed the world, but they were entrepreneurs and they had this vision of what the world could be. And that got them up in the morning, drove them. They created massive empires. Whether what's driving you is an empire or if it's a second kingdom empire. If you're looking around and saying, look, hey, the people around me are suffering, I'm going to be the light in their life. I tell you something, if you do that, if you take the emphasis off of just what you're trying to grab or hold on to or afraid of, and put the emphasis on those around you in your kingdom, I am going to be the light in their life. I'm going to plot out their best interest. Your anxiety will dissipate, and your personal strength will grow. And as you connect with your source and say, make me a tool to help and aid those around me. Make me a tool to make the world a better place. And then say, where do I need to magnify? And tomorrow, your magnification, it may have something, you may clean out your closet. Okay? Something you haven't done in 5 years. My mother-in-law got her couch cleaned for the first time in 42 years. Okay? COVID was good for something, right? It's like, what is it you're going to magnify with? If you go to bed tonight and you haven't written down something you're going to magnify your life this week on, this is a cold call's a failure. Don't make this a failure. What is it you're going to magnify tomorrow? What are you going to magnify this week? What are you going to magnify this month? And then how are you going to make 2020 a remarkable, life-changing year? You paid for it. You suffered enough during it. So what did you make out of it? And if you don't have that, you're going to fall into depression. Because if you sit here just in the moment and look at the isolation and the fear mongering that is going on all around you, and then how many get caught up into social media and the hatred and the anger and the fights, it's a matrix. It's all in your mind. Stay away from it. What are you going to do to impact those lives right around you tomorrow, next week? And you have the tool. Write it down, follow it up. And the thing is, if it makes you as happy as ice cream, you got the right thing. If you see yourself looking forward to this, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun. Our billboard goes up tomorrow with the Christmas box house. This is exciting. Maybe I have it here for you. Yeah. This billboard will be seen by 100,000 people tomorrow. Okay. And 100,000 people will know for the first time that we've protected more than 100,000 children. We're not jungle gyms. Okay. This is exciting for me, but this is just the beginning. I have 3 major campaigns I'm launching. What's your campaign? Michael Sheen, I know you got some campaigns coming up.
Oh, we came up with a new one this weekend, or this last week, but I'm not ready to talk about that one yet.
You don't have to. I'm just saying, I know you did. And know what happened when you told me you were excited, your eyes were bright.
Yeah.
And you're saying, this is fantastic. This is something you're excited about. Okay, so I want a commitment from you. Okay, for your sake, not mine, but I want to see a commitment that you will write down before you go to bed tonight, one thing you're going to do to magnify next week. And then I want you to start thinking about, I want you, like CW posting his grape nuts flakes, grape nuts. I want you to think about, what is that big thing? What is that big idea you're going, oh my gosh, do I dare think it? What is it that's like, I think I could do this? Is it running that marathon? Okay, is it fixing your health? Is it building a new company? Is it building a charity? Is it writing your book? What is that big thing that's going to freaking blow your mind? And write it down. And put it out there, because the power of that in the future will make right now better. It will make you more healthy. It will make you more productive. It will make you kinder. That's the power of it. If you want to make the present great, think of the present as climbing a ladder, right? No one just stops on one rung and say, okay, I'm experiencing the present right here on this rung. No, you're stuck in the middle of a ladder. You're constantly climbing, you're moving. So you put that goal there, it's like, I can't wait till I get there. This is going to be so exciting. And the thing is, once you get there, it's like, that was great. What's next? Because it's the excitement and the hope that you create. Please do not go to bed tonight without that. Even if you have to stay up late and think about it, what is that out there that's going to magnify? And maybe it's going out to save someone. Maybe you are the life preserver being thrown to bring someone back. My wife did this with her drug addicted nephew. My wife is my hero. I mean, she looked at this kid that everyone given up on. She goes, not on my watch. And she went to San Francisco and grabbed this kid out of the gutters. He was a crystal meth addict, put him in the basement and said, you will do what I say. And he now freaking worships her because he saved her life. He's now had 4 job promotions and he owns a home, his own home, It's like her magnification was to save someone. How glorious is that? I want you to ask your source, what is that big magnification? And then think about what tomorrow, what's the magnification that's going to be tomorrow? Clean something up that hasn't been cleaned for a long time. Okay, find one thing to magnify it and do it. Use your organizer, write it down, and then focus your power and your energy, and you will find more joy in the present than if you sit around trying to realize the present. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, so along that line, what are we doing with our Kingdom Organizer community? We have been stuck on the rung for a while, and some of it's from pandemic, some of it's been financial. There's been a bunch of different things. The good news is it's not losing money anymore, so it's no longer a panic situation. And we have finally generated what we want. We want to be able to give and share. And then down below, you see our friend Adrian and Janelle, who, happy birthday, by the way. These people who never age. They are actually helping financially to rebuild the back end. So our back system on Kingdom Organizer will work perfectly. We're working with one of the biggest companies in the world that does this, and they worked out a deal, and it's being done right as we speak. We're going to do the front end of it. Now that's, so once that's working, because that's been stopping big builders. They come in and they get glitches and they stop. So that's going to be fixed and it's being worked on right now, every single day. And that will be, we believe, launched in September, maybe even early September. The second, probably mid-September, but we're not putting it out there yet. The website will be revamped with it, with new features that people have been asking for a while. Tony, is Tony still on there?
Yeah, Tony's there.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, Tony's been working on that and leading that charge. I am, in September, I'm going down to write the book, The 5 Kingdoms, along with Dr. Benjamin Hardy. We're going to go down to my ranch and we're going to knock it out. We think we have $1 million offer for the book right now with a major publisher, not my normal publisher, one who specializes in nonfiction, and we'll launch it out to the world. That's going to explode what we're doing. We are working on an app, which I know works really well, and I just saw the first rendition of it, Contest Pearl. Can't wait to show it to you. It is so freaking cool. I use it everywhere. But it's an app that will help you build your business the easiest way possible. It is completely painless, and it works. First time I used it was for doTERRA. One of the Osmonds came to me and said, hey, I have a bottle of peppermint oil. I put it on there, got them 70 new clients in one day. I'm not exaggerating. Gave them a stack. Names, phone numbers, people who asked to buy it and be involved. That's pretty amazing, right? They had more than 1,300 people try to win it. And then we will, then we can have meetings again, because it does help being together. In the meantime, this is vital that we have each other. Again, this is important that we're with each other during this time to keep our spirits up. We need to be social. We need to be here for each other and to feel each other's presence. Some of you are carrying heavy hearts tonight. Some of you are carrying difficult things tonight and this week. Some of you are not looking forward to this week, and you're afraid of this week. I want you to walk proudly, strong. You know, I love what Winston Churchill said: if you're walking through hell, keep walking. Right? And we have those moments. I'm gonna have a few very difficult experiences in the next couple of weeks. My wife said, you probably are just really not looking forward to it. I said, no, I've changed my attitude. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to conquering. I'm looking forward to battle, because I have righteousness on my side. I'm battling for children. I'm battling to do what's right. It's like, no, I'm going to embrace this. I have a whole list of exciting things that are coming up. So thank you so much. I hope this makes sense to you. I want that commitment, okay? I want you to raise your hand if you are willing to write one thing tonight before you go to bed that you will magnify your life. Something that you're going to magnify. Raise your hand. I'm looking at you, except for unless you're hidden, like Crystal and Sean and Debbie. Okay. Awesome. I'm happy for you. That's for you. Yes, Marcy. Fantastic. And Marcy, I know you have battles you're dealing with. So we have exciting things ahead. I want to thank all of you, especially, I guess I'm going to call you CJ and Janelle, for your help in what we're doing, and Tony and Wendy. And also, as we get ready to move into adaptive ops and our work dealing with trafficked children, you're all going to be involved with that. Okay, we're going to get you involved with all this. So would anyone like to share what they plan to do to magnify their life this week or right now? A big thing that's getting you up in the morning right now. Tony.
We have been in the process, and now even more committed to, we are purging We are getting rid of stuff and getting rid of stuff and getting rid of stuff because there's only one way to let new stuff in, and that is to get rid of the old.
Like it. It feels good to carry that stuff out, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Oh man, let me tell you.
it's awesome.
Okay. We have some chats here. Patrice Anderson asked where we launched our billboards. It'll be on I-15 in Salt Lake City. And Ruth said, make a vision board. Absolutely, a vision board. But the important thing is get that vision board in here. But again, you will know if it's working if it makes your heart jump a little bit. Okay, it's something you want, something that makes you happy. And honestly, some of you have given so much for so long and tried so long, you forgot what makes you happy. And so that magnification, when you write down what's going to magnify your life, make sure it's not a duty. I used to be in this place psychologically where I'd write down, when I was on my church mission, I always felt like I was behind, especially on speaking Mandarin Chinese. And I was always thinking, if I accomplish this, then I will be okay. Which means I was running un-okay all the time. I was never okay. And that became a very depressing place to operate from. Instead of, no, forget all that. What is going to bring me incredible joy? How can I bless someone's life in such a big way it's going to blow their mind? Okay. So who has something that's going to blow our mind? Blow our minds, please. Come on, Joseph. I know you got something.
Well, I'll tell you what's on my mind. It's not necessarily this week, but I've been working on a program actually to totally eliminate suicide and end the stigma of suicidal thoughts through a totally different way than anyone else is doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, keep us informed.
We've already started it. It's called Choose to Stay. It's choosetostay.org. The website's mediocre right now, but we're putting up. We believe that by putting up videos and helping everyone understand, like one of my big missions is it's threefold: helping the world understand they're okay. This is just from my coaching side. Like, you're okay. Start doing what's possible, and you will create miracles. Because for so long in my life, I didn't feel okay because I wasn't married, and especially, being of the same faith that you are, like that, that's just totally different when you're 36 and not married. And so of helping everyone understand they're okay as they are, and that just because we have thoughts go through our head, most often it's the lower power, not our source, that gives us those. When we understand that we don't have to pay attention to those. So by the same form, when people are having suicidal thoughts, every single person on the face of the earth has suicidal thoughts. They just think it's them, and sometimes they think it's coming from their higher power, but it's not.
No.
And when we understand that it's all coming from the adversary or that lower power, we don't have to pay attention to it. And when we don't heed it, after a while, it loses its energy. It loses everything. And if we don't take the first step down to the basement of like dark suicidal thoughts, then we never get there. Like, if we just simply realize, oh, well, yeah, there's that suicidal thought going through my head because right now life just really sucks.
Can you feel his passion?
Mm-hmm.
You feel good?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to get you up in the morning. Good job. Thank you for sharing, Joseph.
Yeah.
And that's God's work. Congratulations. Ruth, you wrote, I need some joy in dreams. And may I say they're the same thing? Those dreams, just having the dreams will bring a sense of joy to you. So what is one dream? It doesn't have, make it within reach. I mean, maybe I was watching, there's a documentary on how to make Chinese dumplings. I think it's a pretty cool dream. There's nothing better than a Chinese dumpling. Just to find out one thing that is different in your life that will magnify it and make it different. This is a great time to do this. I'm watching some of my friends. My friend Lart Galley just released, we just got her cover for her book, and it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Julie Lefevre says she's been working on her artwork. How cool is that? And I hope you show it to us sometime, Julie. You asked how Nathan is doing. Diane has been very happy this week. She's been like this joy because Nathan survived the surgery. I know it sounds a little bit harsh, but she did. She survived the surgery. He's paralyzed on his right arm and leg, or left arm and leg, and that doesn't sound real. I mean, anyone else would feel really horrible about that, and they're not sure if they're going to go back in or not, if they can fix it. Nathan is absolutely good with it. That kid's amazing. Hey, I got a good arm. He's amazing. Diane, you've been amazing. I was really afraid that we would have a funeral this week. I know, we were both thinking that. And then I was trying to figure out my trip and how that was going to work and get back with Allie and be there for you. And we just feel really grateful. And we asked people to send letters and presents, more than 400. And that, what we didn't realize is what tremendous joy that would bring. His whole wall, not just him, but the parents having the outreach, having something to do, having to get their mind off of it, right? And every day looking forward to it more. And then the nurses all come by to visit and see, and the nurses help tape them up to the wall so his wall is completely covered with cards. Look how much joy has spread from this idea of Diane saying, well, we'd like to see if someone would send some letters. Look how many lives were affected in a positive way. These are the kinds of little viruses, like our own little joyful pandemics we want to create. Ruth, talk to us, Ruth.
So right now I should be in Budapest right now, but because of COVID, and I had 2 years we planned for this trip and saved and paid and whatnot. And I worked really hard this last year. I've lost over 100 pounds and getting my health in good shape. And, just making, in anticipation of this trip from Germany over to Oberammergau for the Passion Play and then on to Budapest down the Danube. And it has been really hard this last week to have that dream pulled out from underneath us and have to wait another 2 years for it. And so I've struggled a little bit with not having that during these 2 weeks that we should have been gone, not being able to do that, so that's
I'm sorry, Ruth. I can't hear anything you're saying because my mind's blown that you've lost 100 pounds.
I know.
Holy freaking cow. Everyone, is that like, wow. Wow, who cares about Budapest? Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, it's taken me 63 years to finally find the magic pill for that. So, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. And now you're going to have many more years to go to Budapest and enjoy it.
I mean, I have nothing to complain. I should not be complaining. I have a beautiful home. I have a great husband. I have wonderful children. But this depression is real, and being isolated is just, it's out there.
It is.
And it's like, but it's anticipating that dream for so long and having it taken away and not having anything else in its place right now. It's sort of, it's hard on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just nailed it, Ruth. You said not having something else in its place.
Yeah.
So replace it.
Well, I'd like to, but I shouldn't say this, but I really don't have a fear of COVID, but I certainly don't want to go to travel unless I have my own little motorhome. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah.
A little trailer or something like that, but they're expensive. And it gives my husband stress to think about it. So I have to think of some way of figuring out how to pay for something like that, coming up with about $20,000 to $50,000, because we're both retired now. So, yeah.
Where do you live, Ruth?
I'm in Centerville.
Okay, so there are trips that could be really exciting that aren't going to be nearly that expensive, that actually don't even require the motorhome, or even
Oh.
something simpler like one of those little drop trailers,
You know, I
or
almost-
renting.
I would
almost
drive
got
for you.
something, I could have pulled with my own pilot, but yeah.
I think you just need to get a Harley.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, that's happening.
Well, I am so proud of you, Ruth. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah, it's been I'm almost to my right size body. I have about 5 more pounds to go and 10 more pounds to go. Now I'm all done.
That is so exciting. Congratulations. Now, talk about dreams and joy. I hope you are like waking up every morning and patting yourself on the back and say, "You rock, Ruth."
I know.
You better be giving yourself a whole lot of love. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see my grandkids more, but you know how that goes. So this isolation is a little hard, but I got to find some more ways of bringing joy into my life. So
Yep.
and I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. So just sit there and think, okay, what is it? Use your imagination. Remember what I told you about imagination is more powerful than intelligence? And that imagination, that's actually Einstein that said that, but imagination has more to do with our future and what we do than our circumstances. And so to use your imagination.
I'm going to start creating that vision board this week, and
Good.
I'm going to get a little trailer on there, and I'm going to and my subconscious is going to help me figure out how to get that money in so we can make it happen.
Yeah, there is something really powerful about attracting. I remember one time saying to Carrie, I would like to go to China. I want to go back to China. And a week later, a friend called, said, "Do you want to go to China? I just want a trip. My husband doesn't want to go. He said there's no good golf courses." And we went to China, just like that. Okay, so putting it out there, absolutely. I really, one thing I know about our source, Carrie and I were talking about this earlier today, is during a really hard time, I remember the beauty of it is I really got to know my source well during that time. And he gave me a gift. He gave me a really amazing gift during a hard time. I said, "I just need to know you're with me." And he said, "I'm with you. And by the way, I'm going to give this to you," which is this beautiful home we're in. And I go, "That's impossible. We've already lost it. There's 5 other people and they're paying more and there's no way we can get this home." "No, I'm giving it to you." And the next day we got it. And it's like, I know that my source cares about me, and sometimes even my stupid little things. I've been praying for Allison because while I was down there with her, she thought she had COVID. And she's a nurse and she's very, very careful. I mean, she's like eating with a mask on. She's very careful because she deals with COVID patients all day. And one thing I read is that suicide among health workers is really high. And so she finally, her cohorts, I think that's a funny name, but the other students in her doctorate program, we're all getting together last night. And she couldn't go because she didn't get her test back. And it's like, you don't have COVID because I'd be dead already, okay? Because I would catch it so fast. And she got, just a few hours before the event, she got contacted by them. She didn't think it was coming and said, "You don't have COVID." And I'd been praying and praying. It's like, please God, let her have that chance to be with these people and meet some people. She's going to be lonely. I don't want my little girl to be lonely. And she went and she met some people she really liked and people that she goes, "I know who's going to be my friends here. It's really awesome." And I thought, you know what, maybe in the big game, that's not a big deal, but you know what? It was a big deal to her and it was a big deal to me no one wants to send their kid off to school, whether they're in kindergarten or in doctorate program, with no friends. It's the same thing. I remember she walked off to school the first time and I cried then too. That's one place I'm a softie when it comes to my daughters. Oh my gosh. And I thought, you know what, it was a little tender mercy, but it's like, thank you, God. Thank you. I love that girl. And I just thank you for it. And that was better than something that happened to me. So, okay, it's 9:00. You have made a commitment tonight. And so you got some time to do it. I want you to write down what you're going to magnify your life with this week. This week is going to be freaking awesome. There's going to be lots of horrible news, and we don't give a damn. Okay? Because we are going to make a lot of really good news. And thank you for socializing with me tonight. Thanks for being here tonight and socializing with each other and seeing each other and blessing each other. We need each other, okay? And we'll see you. Thanks for all of you who are helping things move ahead and doing great work. Proud of you. So let's make this a really fantastic week. Exciting news to come. Exciting things to happen. So, Michael, thank you, brother. Glad you're back from Alaska safe.
Yeah.
Save some halibut for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll set that up and throw some on the Barbie.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We will do this again next week.
See you then. Take care.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rick.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Appreciate
everyone.
our time with you, bud.